So I'm going to just say a little bit at the end to talk about my impressions of the programme and how it fits together and what its strengths are. What I think I'd start by saying is that it's not just impressive that this is a programme that's grounded in theory, that's built on principles which are common to many of programmes, CASEL for example, but also ties that in to the specific context that's important in the sorts of schools that are going to be deploying this programme and this initiative. So here I'm a bit lost in my notes, so I'm going to try and do what I can just by looking at the pictures. But if you look across the programme, as I said before, the early lessons systematically cover the basic, the core aspects of the social emotional learning curriculum, which we've just heard about, but then consolidate that information and that learning to focus on some really quite complex problem-solving tasks. So by the end of this, the children and young people are coming out with a set of skills which will last them for the rest of their lives. So it's a real strength, I think, that there's this careful progression built on theory where children are understanding not just what they need to know, but they're also understanding how to use that information to solve problems. Here are some of the pictures from some of the materials. I have to say, I think the illustrations are fantastic, and the characters are absolutely fantastic. I was, in the last 2 years, been involved in a project in the UK where we produced a series of books to do with bullying and anti-bullying strategy. And our illustrations were great as well. I don't know, I just love illustrations in kids' books. But what these do is provide not only some really lively and relatable characters, but they also provide a consistent golden thread, if you like, running through all of the lessons and all of the courses. And that's really important. As educators, we know that that consistency, that continuity, gives a permanence and gives a longevity, a lasting understanding of the messages that are coming across. So it's something in terms of the materials and in terms of the curriculum that maintains children's interests and provides a clear context for that. Here's another example. These, I think, now I'm trying to remember here because I haven't got them on my slides, but I think these are 2 tasks to do with bullying and sharing. Is that something? Oh, no, no, this is, okay, I've caught up with my slides. This is my mistakes and what they teach me, and I was so delighted to hear talk about the importance of failure, because I think that is one of the things that really underlies a lot of the problems that young people experience. They're so focused on success, they're made so anxious by not succeeding and the consequences of that, that they don't realise and don't appreciate that one of the best ways to learn is to fail. We have introduced at my university some specific failure tasks for students when they start. Our students come in with the top degrees from North America, from the world really, and they've never failed before, and then suddenly they find themselves in a class at the age of 21 with people who are quite often better than them, and they start to fail. And we develop a kind of game show format where they learn to fail and understand how they learn through it. We have to reteach that. If this is something that's instilled from early years, that's a lesson that's going to set them up superbly to develop and to build on from that. So, to finish up then, the strengths of the SANA programme, just listed really for you. No, that's not the strengths, is that? Oh, they're the strengths? Okay. Why did I not expect to see that then? Okay. I only have 3 bullet points, but all right, bear with me. So, firstly, as I've said, it is theoretically grounded. The SAMA program is based on robust models of children's development. It's had input from psychologists, from educators, from people that looked at the latest research, understood that, and repackaged it in a way that's ideally suited to the schoolroom. In a really engaging way. I think you can tell this is work that has been done by people who work with children and know what will engage them. As I've said, it integrates the best practice from around the world, but does that in a way that I think is really relevant to children at schools here. And you're absolutely right again. My own children, the children I work with, they find engaging with devices much more exciting. I think if I'm honest, I probably find engaging with devices sometimes more exciting. And the answer there is to make sure that we create the opportunities for children to realise that interacting with one another, that understanding how they can create things together without those devices is really important, but also making the materials that we present to them more engaging as well. And finally, as I've said, this is stimulating and child-friendly. I also think, really importantly, it's also teacher-friendly, because what we have is a clear structure, a clear system, and a clear progression, which gives a framework for teachers and for schools and for parents and families to understand not only what to do, but why they're doing it, how they're teaching these long-term skills, how they're instilling a sense of confidence and capability in children. To summarise then, I think quite often when I've been talking about social and emotional learning to people in the UK, teachers in the UK, I often encounter the attitude that, well, this is just something, emotions, those things, they're things that we just pick up. They're things that we just acquire. I acquired them. I learnt them when I was younger. No one taught me how to do it. Well, I think that's wrong. I think as teachers, you can probably see the children who come from parents who do teach these skills at home. And as educators, we can do a lot of good there as well. So it's not instinctive. And even if you think it is, the data don't lie. In terms of academic performance, behaviour, mental and physical health, social and emotional learning programs are really important. But to echo something that has been said already a number of times, these programs work best when there is buy-in. That's buy-in from the families, so engaging the families in this, making them understand why it's important, I think is important for any school. Fundamentally, the teachers need to be engaged, and particularly when the whole school understands why they are doing this, gets on board, and sticks with this as a priority for that community. That's when it's really effective and when it works. So, senior teachers need to be involved. It can often be part of an improvement plan within a school. Quite often a staff coordinator can help. And engagement training sessions with parents and explaining to the children why they're doing it, which is the purpose of the introductory lesson in the programme. All of those things add value and guarantee positive outcomes. What else is needed for success, particularly for the programme? Well, it needs this whole school approach. It's not going to work in just one classroom. It makes much more sense if one classroom tries it, but everyone knows that this is an important priority. Parental involvement, as I've already said, That's going to be crucial too, to secure the benefits, not just within the school environment, but at home as well. And of course, there's a number of different approaches from parents for all the children in any class. So explaining to those parents why it's important is, again, a key thing that needs to be done. Children too need to learn to prioritise it and sense that they've achieved something when they complete the programme. And as we know is already happening, and as mentioned before, it is really important to evaluate the outcomes, to improve it where it can be improved, but to understand what has progressed, what has improved, and to demonstrate that these programs and this program really is going to work in a whole range of different areas. So that completes my summary. I did want to just say thank you very much, and I think we now finished. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Patrick, for sharing your expertise.